Beyond snapping the losing streak, Dana, just to get 100 when Nate only has 7 minutes in the first half, what does that do psychologically for the room?
No, I think it helps the other guys. Some other guys got to play a little bit more, and I thought our ball movement was better, so we got better shots. I think it really helped. Just getting guys on the floor and moving the ball. Other than that one stretch where you just exchange baskets, and I think they scored 10 or 11 times in a row. Other than that stretch, I thought we played really hard and did some really good things, but we broke down defensively there a number of times in that little stretch there. We were just so happy we were scoring that we didn't guard very well. But other than that stretch, I thought we played pretty hard, pretty active, played with more energy, which was good to see.
You talked about earlier this week, I believe, it was talking about the guys making sacrifices on the court on things that need to be done. It felt like we saw that at times, Kwame diving for the ball on the court, teams, players playing a little bit better defensively. Did you see more of that today, and what can that do, showing that the vision of what you had imagined?
No, the guys played pretty hard, and their activity. I thought the first half our communication was a lot better. Second half, I'm not sure it was as good. I'll have to watch the film. It just looked like we made a lot more mistakes than we did the first half. But no, I liked our activity. 22 assists, 12 turnovers. We'd like to see that every game. So all in all, a lot of positives. We didn't shoot free throws well the second half, but we shot them, really well the first half. So still got to keep working at that free throw line.
Seems like almost a broken record at this point, but Kwame's energy and activity just kind of maybe is the engine for this team?
Well, he just needs to rebound, and he gets us, he got 13 rebounds, and that gets him going. I think he had 10 at half, so when he's rebounding, he's involved. We found that out the last 2 years, that when he's going to the boards and rebounding the ball, he gets involved. And if he doesn't, he's just kind of standing there watching the game. And we need him to be really involved in the game like he was tonight.
How do you evaluate Ezekiel's performance?
Well, I thought he did a lot of good things, just slowing down and catching the ball and slowing down on some of his finishes. Defensively, he did some good things, and then some other times he was way out of position. So he's got to watch the film and be able to cover more ground defensively. But no, I thought he made a big step. I finished some plays inside, got 11 rebounds, double-double. So did some really good things.
Nate, obviously after I think he went out, I don't recall him seeing going back on the court. Was that just more the way the game was?
Yeah, no, he wasn't moving very good, and that ankle's still bothering him a little bit. He didn't practice much this week, and you could tell it was still, bothering his movement. He says it's not painful, it's just stiff, and, he doesn't have the power off of it. So, there was no sense taking chance second half with it. Just give him some time here, and we'll give him some time tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, and hopefully he'll be able to play more on Wednesday.
Jackson's now had 8 assists, 9 assists this season. What can you say about his ability to distribute the ball and maybe focusing on that a little bit more this season?
Well, we need him to do that. When he's making plays, everybody makes plays. If he takes some questionable shots, it kind of gets the ball rolling for everybody. He's got the ball in his hands, and we want the ball in his hands. And so when he sets the tone making plays for others, it carries off to everybody. Over to everybody. So, no, I think the reason we had 22 is because he got the ball moving. He had 9, and he set a great tone for us there.
Talked about trying to get way more time on the court. I'm sure he had moments he probably played good, moments he probably struggled. But how valuable is just 21 minutes for him to get the flow of the American game? Well,
it's important. We can't break him of the habit of trying to make a play every time he touches it. He's aggressive and, wants to make a play. His 2 baskets were after we moved it, and he had shots, and again, it's been a work in progress. It's been frustrating for him. It's been really frustrating for our staff. You know, we can't have him taking quick shots and bad shots, and that's why his percentages aren't any good. You know, they're just quick and a lot of bad shots. You know, when he takes good ones, he had a couple days in practice where, you know, he didn't shoot it until late in the shot clock, and, you know, wide open shots. And, you know, one day he went 7 for 8 from 3, and, you know, none of them were quick. You know, they were all after we hit 3 sides, and the ball movement was good, and somebody had set a pick for him, you get a good look, you know. But he just gets really impatient and, you know, wants to shoot it every time he gets it or make a play. And, you know, he just got to slow down a little bit.
Has the communication there been an issue at all?
Sure has. No, he just understanding our terminology and the flow of the game. It has been, you know, and you know, again, the league they play in China, it's not a defensive league. It's, you know, 130 to 120. You know, whoever can get the most shots up, and so, you know, it's not the way we play here. You know, you can't play here that way. So, you know, that's been a little adjustment for him too. But he's a really good kid, and he wants to do the right things. He's having a hard time breaking some habits.